In the embrace of the Black Sea's mystical nature, a treasure that has hidden many secrets throughout history rises, the Sumela Monastery. In this documentary, we will explore this unique structure that has witnessed thousands of years of history. For centuries, this monastery has served both as a pilgrimage center for Christianity and as a cradle of art and culture. Why was it established here? And why were its mysterious rooms constructed? Hidden treasures, events that have taken place, and much more. According to the tales, two Christian monks, Barnabas and Sophronios, who never knew each other and lived in distant lands, simultaneously see the Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus, in their dreams. In their dreams, the icon of Mary holding baby Jesus is located where the Sumela Monastery stands today. Upon this divine sign, the monks, arriving by sea, meet at the monastery, share their dreams with each other, and experience great astonishment. The image of Mary holding Jesus is of great significance to Christianity. This is because the person believed to have created this icon is Saint Luke, known for writing one of the 4 parts of the Gospel. And when the monks visit the cave they saw in their dream, they soon find the icon as well. The Virgin Mary appears in the monk's dream and says, "Build a church for me here." Following this, the monks begin constructing the Sumela Monastery. One of the most special structures of Christianity emerges through the hands of these 2 men. Initially, Sumela was built merely as a church suitable for the caves on the mountain. However, over time, as belief in its sanctity grew, the Sumela Monastery became one of the most important structures in the Christian world and gained significance as a pilgrimage center. This structure expanded with contributions from people in the surrounding villages during its construction process. A group of people carried materials on their backs, filling the cavities in the high places where the church was to be built. Now let's step into this sacred place and discover the treasures within. Let's examine the frescoes, crafted years ago by the hands of devout Christian artisans on the walls. Here is one of the most famous frescoes of the church, the Virgin Mary with Child. In this fresco, Mary is depicted with Jesus in her womb. This portrayal signifies that God, who cannot be contained by any place in the world, found a space in Mary's womb. Now you are looking at another fresco known as Christ Pantocrator. Pay close attention to the fingers of Prophet Jesus. This represents the Holy Trinity, the eternal union of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, symbolizing the 2 natures of Jesus, both human and divine. Around the fresco, the phrase, "I am the light and the life of the world," is inscribed. Behind the absence of faces in many of the frescoes in the monastery lies a mysterious story. Over the years, people living around the monastery believed that these frescoes possessed healing powers. Driven by this belief, they removed pieces of the frescoes, boiled them in water, and drank the mixture. This is why the facial parts of some images have not survived to the present day. On the other hand, the faces of some frescoes were stolen by art traffickers. The Sumela Monastery acquired its present appearance in the 1360s during the reign of King Alexios III of the Empire of Trebizond. According to legend, the king, who fell from his horse and was found unconscious in the forest, was brought to the monastery and healed by the Virgin Mary. This incident increased the king's admiration for the monastery and led to various construction and aid activities. Why was a monastery built on such an inaccessible slope? The answer lies at the heart of Christianity. Churches in city centers were insufficient for the spread of Christianity. This task fell to monks who withdrew from worldly life and sought seclusion. These monks established small churches in the places they went to, facilitating worship for villagers and travelers and aiding in the conversion of pagans to Christianity. One reason for building these monasteries in remote locations could be interreligious competition. Pagans had established temples in the remote parts of mountains. With the spread of Christianity, these temples were converted into churches. The possibility that there was a pagan temple where the Sumela Monastery now stands could answer the question, why here? Similar monasteries are found in Turkey and the Orthodox Christian world. The Sumela Monastery gained even more significance with the Virgin Mary's request in a dream to build a church there, becoming a pilgrimage center for Orthodox Christians. However, its history has not always been glorious. Between 1914 and 1918, Russian soldiers occupied Trabzon, looting valuable items from the monastery. This is one of the worst events in the monastery's history. The city suffered destruction from bombings during the Russian occupation between 1914 and 1918, and many civilians were brutally killed by the Russians. During this period, the Sumela Monastery also became a target of Russian soldiers, but the main damage was inflicted not on the building itself, but on its valuable contents. The image of Jesus and Mary, believed to be drawn by St. Luke and a fundamental element of the monastery's foundation, gifts sent by sultans, and many valuable items were plundered by Russian soldiers. This event is recorded as one of the greatest disasters in the monastery's history. From 1924 to 1953, the monastery remained an abandoned structure used by hunters and shepherds. In 1953, following agreements between Turkey and American soldiers, these soldiers became the first foreigners to officially enter the monastery. In 2010, on August 15th, a day sacred to Christians, the first Mass in 88 years was held, led by Patriarch Bartholomew V of the Istanbul Greek Orthodox Patriarchate. During the restoration work that began in 2015 and lasted 5 years, previously unknown secret passages and a chapel were discovered in the monastery. This chapel contained unique frescoes depicting heaven and hell, death and life. These findings shed new light on the history of the monastery, revealing that it was more than just a place of worship, but a site of rich cultural heritage. The restoration process was quite challenging. A 360-ton rock posing a risk of falling onto the monastery had to be stabilized first.